welcome to the lunch break. I'm your server, Jay. Always seasoned, never salty. I'm with my co-host. What's your names?
Hey, Keys.
And Black Ice.
Yeah, what's up? Keith is not Spanish, but his name is X in Spanish. If you didn't know, that's how what's the word I'm looking for? That's how what's that word they call us? Militaristic he is. Well, let's get the show going. It's time to dig into my lunch pail. Let's see what we got cracking in here.
I swear this man got a different lunch bag every other week.
No, it's the same one. It's an igloo, keeping the topics nice and cool.
It's just different colors.
All right, so the first one is Ricci beats 13-year-old in a skateboarding contest. So if you haven't heard, there was a skateboarder from California. Hey, don't put that on all
man, of them. Look. California's been taking some L's this week, man.
Yeah, this is a huge L for us right here. But there's a transgender woman skateboarder. I'll let you figure out which one it is on the picture. But there's a transgender woman skateboarder that went to New York and competed in a skateboarding contest and got first place. And the runner-up was a 13-year-old girl. So there's a huge outrage about it, about how a man can put on a wig and compete against women. This is once again an example of how men are competing against women, and we're seeing little girls suffer. What are your opinions, fellas?
Well, I want to start off by saying it's really kind of ironic, given the fact that the feminist movement fought so hard for intersectionality and to include the trans community in their narrative, and now the patriarchy and these white men that have been oppressing them are now dressing up as them and going against them in their sports.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's hilarious. Yeah, I had a different take, man. I was like listening to the news report, and I see this can lead up to the Civil War here. Because they were talking about the laws involved and what Biden trying to do, and he tried to put the federal law so they can compete, but it's 18 states that had them banned. But what Biden does can supersede what states are doing, and and I can see that could be another issue of like even with the Roe versus Wade, it's like they want state rights, you know what I'm saying, and they want to be everything to be nationwide, so this can cause some more friction, I think.
What do you mean by that, by Civil War?
Well, what I think is interesting is this is how the Civil War started.
Hold on, civil rights started because of a transsexual in a skateboarder contest?
No, the Civil War.
The Civil War.
The Civil War. The Civil War was started over a transsexual. Okay.
In school, they well, I know I went to public school. They make it like, oh yeah, the North was trying to free the slaves, but they didn't give a damn about the slaves at all.
Right.
We all know it boiled down to the money and the rights. And in the South, they want somebody taking their bag, and that was they fought for. Well, the same thing will happen here. They want money, they want power. So the same thing here.
And I like Keith's point. I was thinking that same thing. It's like women have fought so long to be equal, fought so long to be treated like human beings in this country. And let's just remove race from it. Let's just look at it from a gender perspective. Women at one time were treated as property, and they fought to be able to have self-determination, to be able to get a job, to be able to, if you didn't cook dinner, your husband can't just whoop your butt. You know what I'm saying? The cops come and say, well, make sure you make dinner tomorrow. They fought so hard for these rights to give the rights up to a dude in a wig.
That's it.
It's like you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to be back in the kitchen. Yes, B Mick, this is live.
Yes, this is
you're
live,
putting
B-Mick.
yourself in.
Yes, B Mick. You all here?
Yes, I'm live on me. Live in the flesh. So you're putting yourself in a position where you're gonna have to go back to the kitchen, but instead of you being mandated back to the kitchen, you're going to have all your opportunities removed in the workplace. They're gonna hire women. It's gonna be a dude in a wig. In the swimming competition, you're gonna lose to a dude in a wig. You put yourself in a bad position.
It goes to show the longevity of these different doctrines like intersectionality.
Yeah. But that's crazy though. They asked for it, now they pissed off that they got it.
Yeah, they got equality, more equality than they ever thought. But parting thoughts on this topic, I just feel that my parting thoughts, at least, I just feel like it's wrong. I feel like it's men bogarting themselves on everybody. They're even bogarting themselves on straight men. Like we hear transgender saying, "Hey, we don't need to disclose that we're transgender." So they're just imposing themselves on everybody. They're imposing themselves on women, imposing themselves on girls, imposing themselves on straight people. And we need to have healthy boundaries in order for us to function.
Yeah.
G Mum Me said, "Bro, better know how to cook before he leaves his mama house." He said they got what they stomped and whined for. And so did the black community with all these immigrants replacing us.
And that irony just goes to show: be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I know.
Why it's so important to actually plan ahead.
All right, so let's move forward. All right, so I'm gonna dip in my lunch pail. Let's shake it up. Here's my lunch pail. It's a live lunch pail, B-Mick. Just let you know, it's a live lunch pail. The lunch pail is live. Its mic is on.
Is that a pre-recorded?
Sharing the mic today. Workplace DEI.
Oh my God, what ashy knuckles.
It's a company. Nick, I've been working today. I've been working. So, workplace DEI is a company issue and not your issue. So, you want to cue this up, Black Ice?
Yeah, it's like came across this article about this company. They did, I guess, research saying how Black women are they overstressed, overworked, and they feel like they uphold a reputation that they shouldn't have to, about how they represent the workplace. Like they feel like they have to represent all Black women when they're there, and they feel like the workplace should cater more to them naturally, I guess. And they feel like they should have the code switch to be there. But my thing is, that's just America. And what they ain't like about it is, they act like in the article it makes it like it was just Black women. No, all Black people had a code switch to be in that environment.
Right.
Yeah, it is one of those things again, man. Like I hate when they try to separate us, Black men and women, and put us against each other. They try all the time to make it seem like Black men are on equal footing with white men, and that's not the case at all.
Right.
We lower than the Black women in a lot of industries.
I agree. And Jerry Blunt, no, I wasn't working in flour, but I will make fried chicken later. Gluten-free fried chicken. But I like Black Ice. I'm with you, and I think this is part of it. Just to frame up the article a little bit more, it's like they're telling Black women, don't take the corporate diversity quote on your shoulders. Don't feel like you have to bear the burden of diversity and making diversity come alive in these white corporations. And I think the important thing for me here, my takeaway is the Black women that got a manager job in a Mercedes and thought they were better than the Black man. This is showing you it's a sham.
Yeah.
You're not a part of the in-group. There's diversity, equity, and inclusion is all just a BS game that they're playing to try to look like they're doing something about white supremacy. It's a tap dance in the office that they have all of us playing. And unfortunately, a lot of people have failed for it. And so this article is basically telling Black women, don't try to be Captain America in the office, because you're not going to be able to change anything, because there's a system and a hierarchy of white supremacy that's going to be there no matter what.
And it was low key cap too, man, because they're trying to make it seem like they working to represent everybody. And like, man, you in that type of environment, you don't looking out for yourself.
Oftentimes, yes. And one thing I really want to hone in on is why this is such a big issue, unfortunately, for a lot of sisters that have chose to the strictly corporate route, is because it becomes a thing where that's all they have.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of our sisters in the community that are they feel stuck because the romantic life isn't going well, the social life isn't going well, the life, the black community, we've been so torn apart between men and women to the point where they feel like work is all I have, and if I can't have peace of mind there, I'm gonna go crazy.
I was thinking about with Jason Black. He did a broadcast, I guess, some time ago. He was talking about the women in the workplace, and it's like, y'all not out there doing construction jobs. Y'all not working in these warehouses. Y'all usually in the office, but yet you still was able to take these girl trips and vacations about 5 times a year. I was like, you got a point, you know what I mean? Because it's most of the black guys I've been around, they working the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not taking multiple vacations a year.
They're not taking guys trips.
Yeah, like they're working overtime.
And Erica has a great point. I like it. She says there's no code switch. Even if you're articulate black woman, you still come off as an articulate, angry black woman. They mentioned that specifically in the article. You know, you're always bland. Anytime you have a little spice in your voice, they look at you as angry. And just a side note, have you ever seen how white people view black people talk? When we talk very animated, they always think it's a fight. Maybe two brothers talking like, man, nigga, you ain't got no Jordans. Nigga. Like, oh my god, it's about to pop off.
Tyrone, please.
And think about it too, man. Yeah, it's levels to this too, man. Because you may, for example, you have your black woman who's intelligent, doing her work, doing her job well, everything's good. But then you got the ones who that love the white man so much, so she's not threatening at all. Like she's the one with the cute face. And she'll keep her head down and she'll smile on their face at all times. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of men don't do those type of jobs. So, like, some people maybe on the impression, they got this great job because they're so smart, this and the third. But man, we live in a society. It's about who you know and if they want to be around you on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, be big. Whoa, calm down, guys. Okay.
Like perfect example. When I saw that documentary about Abercrombie and Fitch, and they'll judge you on your looks. And no matter how smart or dumb you are, if you're cute or they find you attractive, you're working in the front. And if you come in and you be the smartest, hardworking chick that ever come across, that you weren't attracted to that white man, like, oh man, you'd be awesome in the soccer room. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, real quick, G Bubby say he take 4 vacations a year. Hey man, not logging into Uber don't mean you're taking a vacation.
Yo, I mean, you know what? But you ain't your vacation time. Take your vacation time. But Jason Black was making more of a point of the women that are lazy, not complaining, and don't want to work.
It's time. I'm gonna have to
The pod just talked over you.
It was delicious. Let's get this comment off the screen. Let me look at my lunch pail. What we got next? We got Brittany Griner pleads guilty to drug charges. So if you haven't heard, Brittany Griner's in Russia. That's actually kind of funny. She's in jail in Russia. Like, how the hell does that happen? How the hell you get locked up in Russia, first off? But she's locked up in Russia. G Mummy, man, don't take offense, man. Hold on real quick. G Mummy says I work in the office. Thank you. Man, I'm a jokester, bro. Don't unsubscribe from the channel now. Brittany Griner got caught up in the airport with cannabis oil, and she got arrested. And so she's been detained, and now she's caught up in the whole Ukraine and Russia beef in the United States. So she's there as a pawn. They probably don't even care about her. She's black. But at the end of the day, it's like, my takeaway here is black people, man, watch how you move, man. Don't just, you in Russia with weed. You was getting locked up in the United States for weed. Don't be in Russia and Zimbabwe and all that with weed if you don't know how to get down.
Man, my takeaway is people learn this is how international things work. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, the Americans don't care about her, Russia don't care about her. She's a victim of horrible timing to do what she did. Yeah, like when she got caught up a week before the war thing popped off, right? And when it comes to democracy, it's all about negotiations. The only reason Russia even keeping her, Russia doesn't even care about the oil in them damn selves. They're only keeping her because they're hoping they can use her as a bargaining chip to get some of their people back. That's it. Right. And the U.S. not willing to give it, and they're not willing to give them up for Brittany because they don't give a damn about her.
Yeah, the leverage. Hey, we got a tall lesbian black basketball player. You're gonna give us that scientist? They like, nigga, you could have her.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. I mean, one thing, first off, I'm wondering where she gets all the chains of shirts.
A fresh
in every single photo, she has a freshly ironed shirt. So, I mean, I'm not sure how the Russian prisons are treating her, but when it comes to the whole thing of, you know, her being, you know, caught up in this situation, it really just goes to show how cognizant you have to be. I mean, you're flying. I'm wondering how she even got a chance to fly, or however she traveled to Russia into the country with vape full of cannabis oil.
Yo, the ID 10 Terra. A question was asked, you know, if Trump was in office, would she be home? If Trump was in office, there wouldn't be I don't know, it would be a war popping off right now, to be honest, in the first place.
And I don't even, and who even knows? If there was a war popping off and Trump was in office, they probably wouldn't be able to get her.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, if Trump wasn't in office and this was still going on, she would still be in Russian jail right now.
Look,
because the same thing applies. Like she had no value as leverage.
She's a black basketball player, whether it's Trump's term or Joe Blow's.
You best believe if she was a scientist, yeah, they'd be trying to get her home because they need her to make some bombs.
Right.
Dude, they had an Israeli woman there that came in there with some weed, and they held her up and jammed her up. They had to take Benjamin Netanyahu to free her. So
wow.
She has no chance. Like she's on a hope and a prayer. But at the end of the day, you riding dirty, and you riding dirty in Russia.
Yeah, you gotta be smart.
Yeah, and the government you got that needs to vouch for you don't even like you.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Black people, just you gotta move smart. I know a lot of people are like, this is messed up, but it you know, she kind of put herself in that position, and there was a white WNBA coach that said if this was LeBron, he would have been out already. They already trying to make LeBron. It like some divide and conquer type stuff. Yeah. Like if it was a black male, he would have been out. It's like no, it's about she was smoking weed, she got jammed up, and now she's caught up in politics.
Black people, man, you moving in space, they don't allow it. I mean, it's not worth it. Like, cause she's going there to get $1 million. She was getting $1 million bag over there, and you willing to risk that over some cannabis oil?
Yeah, let me respond to Blondie Cake. She said he helped get Rocky home. Rocky was in Switzerland. You know what Switzerland is famous for, being neutral and stuff. This is wartime.
Oh, you're right. The totally different situation.
Right.
Yeah. Totally different. Yeah. And best believe if the U.S. and Switzerland was at war, Rocky would still be over there.
Right. Seriously.
Yeah. Russia is trying to beat Ukraine, and United States is hooking them up with weapons and resources. They're not on good negotiating terms right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. That's a bad analogy.
But we still love you.
Yeah.
We're on our last course of the day before we hit the main course. Better learn how to say her name in Russian. Right there. Last topic, murder of Jalen Walker. And when we were putting the topics together, we were really questioning on if we were going to talk about this topic or not, because every time we turn around, a brother's getting blasted. But I think what we settled on with this topic is that what we need to understand is there's only one option left. And we want everybody to understand that there's one option left. When you see how they continuously shoot us down in cold blood, you know, how they chased this brother and capped him, shot 90 times at him, hit him 60 times. There's no hoping, praying, voting, anything. You can't vote, pray, hope, and change your way out of it. Okay, there's only one option, and I'll let you figure out what that option is. I'm past to the crew.
It's definitely not going to be an eat, pray, love kind of thing. We have to prepare. We have to prepare overall.
I feel like we still don't get it yet.
Yeah.
We still, like, to me, when events like this happen, and our response to it, is further proof that we're not there yet. we're not there yet because like I saw somebody say on Twitter like,
Yeah.
yo, that city shouldn't be this quiet, you know, after this went down. And yelling in front of this person, in front of the mayor's house. Okay, and you know what I mean? But yeah, to me, it just proved that we don't get it yet. We still have too much belief in the system. We still want to live at peace with this white supremacy. And so, yeah, this is a reminder that, you know, we're not there yet. I mean, and it's unfortunate, you know, we haven't caught on yet. But I don't know what else they need to do to convince people, you know, there's no peace with these people.
What was insane was just the extreme nature of the shooting, because I can't think of a situation where they would have lit up even a suicide bomber to the point that they lit that brother up. You know, it was just
if the
insane.
suicide bomber was white, he would have been taken out alive.
Right. Oh, exactly. Seriously,
But-
with the bomb strapped to his chest.
Yeah, exactly. And they would have been like, "Are you okay? Do you need to loosen up the vest a little bit?"
Did he just zip it up?
But like B Mix said, people are scared to take it there, and it's I find like, for instance, there's black people that complain about Twitter, Facebook, and all that about the censorship, but they will not go to a black platform to say they dang life.
Yeah.
So to get them to even pay the ultimate cost, it's kind of sad, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're not ready to pay the true cost for freedom.
Right.
Yup.
It's like, yeah, we're not ready to pay that. We're not ready to pay that price yet. You know, as a whole.
There was. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, if I say Mark Bruce Wayne Brown, he knows.
Yeah.
Like he gets it. Like, you know, we know what the cost is. Like, you know, we didn't have to say it out loud, but we know what it is.
And I even wanted to touch on what Mark Bruce Wayne Brown did, because we really do have to mentally remove ourselves from all these different systems that we live under, because we're still trying to function in the U.S. in their system, saying we're going to vote, we're going to march, we're going to do what MLK them did, and we're going to get the same result. Not much.
Every time.
It's like you're trying to fight Darth Vader by following all the systems. Darth Vader sets up a Google form for you to voice your complaints, and then you call Darth Vader's Google form and say, "Darth Vader, you're abusing us here in the star system."
Wait till I get on Darth Vader, yo.
Yeah, Darth Vader just sees your message and he's like, all right, cool. Let me know when you're trying to get busy.
Right.
Darth Vader only responds to X-Wings pulling up at his door.
Exactly. Right.
This is what can they do to us? B-Mix says this. What can they do to us when they haven't done what that? Okay, B-Mix. What can they do to us? What they haven't done already? After George Floyd, I realized there was nothing to be afraid of. That's very true, man. But I think some people are afraid to lose their Xbox or their Twitter. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid of the creature comforts. I look at it like this, and let me know if I'm pontificating. But I look at it like this. It's like, you could fight a little bit and have temporary discomfort, but have a lifetime of freedom and comfort and not have to worry about getting capped 60 times. Or you could have what we have now, where you kind of have comfort, but you know you could get capped up at any moment. Like, people are afraid of having that temporary, that calm or the storm before the calm.
Right.
They're afraid to death of that. But we need that storm before the calm, because that storm, we're already in a storm. So I'd rather amp up the storm a little bit and get to freedom as opposed to having this crap right here.
When it comes to growth, you're not going to grow if you don't go through hard circumstances. And that's the thing. We just want to sit on our laurels and let the system do what it do. But we see what the system do. We saw what the system did to that brother. So that's what the system does. You're not going to march and vote your way out of that. So we can't just sit on our laurels and trust in the system.
Absolutely. Now on to the main course.
Showing this bloody ass meat, bro.
I'm sorry, man. You guys are savages, man. I'm sorry you don't understand how to cook a steak. You know what I'm saying?
I understand if you guys want to cook one.
Did he use the word cook?
Right.
Pardon me,
They
bro.
get straight from the counter table, for real, literally.
Nigga slap the cow on the plate, you know?
I'm sorry, man. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could have a show with a bunch of well done eating Negroes.
Man, I can't believe you have a show with somebody who eat like white women. He's eating raw steak.
It's
Cali
juicy, man.
They be liking them raw steaks, man.
No, it's bloody and juicy.
I hope this show teaches you two savages something. Going to Ruth Chris ordering well done steak. Like I taught you last episode, they be giving y'all them bad cuts of meat because y'all go in there asking well done.
I won't trust nobody named Ruth Chris.
Yeah, well
Support black owned business, brother.
all right, y'all go in there. So, on that subject of a black-owned business, if you've been on Twitter recently, you know that Tariq Nasheed went on Akademiks podcast called Off the Record, and they had a conversation about being on code, and I don't want to steal Black Ice's thunder, but. It was kind of mid. They like everybody's like, oh my god, he took it to him.
Yeah,
you know, he did challenge his points, which was to a good degree, which was really good. It was done to a wide audience, so he dispelled a lot of those myths. But overall, it was just a cool, relaxing conversation between someone that's on code and someone that's off code. Black Ice, your thoughts?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, I was really upset about the overhype. Yeah, I went on Twitter acting like that, like Tariq just went in with a bat. The studio, the South Academic. I kept saying hashtag pull up summer, and I'm thinking like, okay, all right, you know. Yeah.
Hey, B-Mick, it was like the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals.
Yeah, it was all right. I agree with a lot of things Tariq said, but there was some things I didn't agree with. Tariq gave some shout outs in the end, and he was talking about how much he liked T.I. I'm like, I don't like T.I. like that, bro. Like T.I. would forever be my top 5 rapper in Atlanta. I'm not gonna deny that. But the political moves he made, especially with the mayor with Keisha Bottoms, like really I'm not giving him that pass. And Tariq been to Atlanta way too many times to overlook that, in my opinion.
He's plugged in.
Yeah, so I didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't like. But Akademiks asked Tariq a good question. He's like, okay, what are you gonna do with these reparations? Are you still gonna be operating under white supremacy? And I was like, that was a really good question, and I was interested to see how Tariq gonna answer that. And I didn't even care for his answer. The answer went kind of like roundabout way, and because like my thing is, you know, and I always said this, like, yeah, I believe. Yeah, I do.
Hey, Black Ice, there's multiple people on the show.
We don't care about y'all too, but
he's doing it to us.
Yeah, but basically he was saying that, you know, the money is the answer, and I don't think that's the case.
Right. Well, my view on it,
only part of it.
My thing about it, and with this conversation is, you have you have a brother on code and brother off code, and they both have large audiences, and they're both on Spotify. I just look at it like they had this conversation and they had lunch afterwards. It really is just one of those things. Now,
is that a fair assessment though? Do you think it's really that let's say rigged, or so to speak, or do you think that's cynical to think that way?
Well, it's not to say that it's rigged, but when it comes to the hype and everything, and I'm wondering how much fruit is going to come from this conversation. Now, I do see it like, you know, Akademiks does have a big platform and everything. A lot of people do come and visit it, but I'm wondering how much fruit is going to come from this conversation.
There's going to be no fruit from this conversation. Akademiks didn't give a hoot about none of it. I'm gonna play a clip from it right now.
QIA, progressive movement, and also movements that help Black folks. Like they're for everyone.
Okay, we ain't doing that because we've done that already and it don't work.
Let me frame it up a little bit. So what Akademiks was talking about, he said, is it possible for someone to support multiple movements? Can you support LGBTQIA and be B1 and all that all at the same time? This is Tariq's response.
We've been prioritizing everybody. And if we keep letting them prioritize everybody, it will never stop, man. let's prioritize Hispanics, and then we'll get to the black people. Now, when it's our turn, well, let's prioritize Asians, then we'll get to you. Well, let's prioritize handicapped people, then we'll get to you. Well, let's prioritize trans people, then we'll get to you. Well, let's prioritize pansexuals, then we'll get. I mean,
What's that?
He's gonna be
whatever
next
they
to
say,
the color.
because I've heard that term before.
Oh,
It
yeah.
never stops, man. They're gonna prioritize everybody over us if we let them. We're saying no more of that, man. We got to get tangibles for foundational Black Americans right now.
See, that was a good point right there, and that to me shows how immature academics is in the conversation. He is so unaware of the history of the United States. He's trying to tell us to mimic steps we already did 40 years ago that didn't work.
Academics is definitely
yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that.
Hey, let the guy with no face talk.
No, but yeah, academics is definitely a dude boy. I feel like academics was the wrong person for that conversation. I mean, of course you have that contrast, but I really don't. When I think of Black content creators, I don't think of DJ Akademiks. He really is like one of the biggest goons, you know, in my mind, in the radio spaces.
I just have a question for you, Jay, because Tariq said something that I wasn't aware of, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it. Is how true it was or whatever. Because Akademiks brought up the gang life and the gangs in Cali. He's like, oh, that's FBA. He's dropping like GDs, Crips, Bloods, whatever. And Tariq was like, a lot of them are Belizean. And so, and I wasn't aware of that. So, like, is a lot of Belizean people where you at, or
yeah,
no?
there is you'll run into some Belizeans here and there. It's hard to see them because they look just like us. So
Right.
So there goes that indigenous theory thing going on. We probably all come from Africa, guys. I'm sorry. The Belizeans blend right in with us. Like there's a lot of Belizeans in Long Beach. You see them all over. Now, are Belizeans the source of the Crips and the Bloods and all the bad black gangs? Probably not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like my uncles were founding members of some of the Crips heads in Long Beach, and they're FBA all day. So then nobody of our family's Belizean. So but there to his point, there is a lot of Belizeans out here.
Okay. And that's one thing. Another thing I wanted to bring up too, I want to hear your thoughts on. They brought up the colorism thing, and I'm not sure I agree. I'm not sure. I am sure. I don't agree with Tariq on that either, because he was saying how light-skinned people actually have it harder than dark-skinned people, and I totally disagree.
What?
I don't know. I can see how I think a mixed person has different challenges than a dark-skinned person. I do agree with that, because this is why I was like, I would never want to have a woman with a white kid, because a woman, hell no. A woman, I would never want to have a kid with a white woman, because my kid will be stuck between being the identifying with the oppressor and the oppressed.
I agree with that part.
They'll have that internal struggle over and over again, and then a lot of them end up cooning out because they're like, I get nothing with these Negroes over here, and I get everything with the white people. And then they try to get accepted by white people, and their whole identity becomes being accepted. So they start rejecting everything black.
So because of that one part right there, do you believe they have actually got it easier than dark-skinned people because they can like finesse themselves into that white space?
No, I don't think so. I think that we have it harder. Because I think
which side you gonna pick, Jay?
No. But I'm sorry. I think I got confused. I'm sorry.
Are you mixed?
The light was bouncing off your head on me. But but I think that we have it easier because we know where we stand. They actually know where they stand too, but they're in denial because genetically they're like, I'm half white. My mom is white. A whole family of I grew up eating unseasoned food. Why can't you guys take me? And so they have that conflict. So I think in some ways we have it easier. It's harder for them because they could get more into that society and get even more confused. We don't get confused. It's harder for us to get confused.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on the confusion part, but I do feel like they have more opportunities probably given to them. I mean, you look at Hollywood. Look at the music industry.
Well, yeah, because I do have to disagree with this one because
With who?
with Jay on this one. Don't make any jokes, but I do have to disagree because in the context of the system, they're able to they have that opening, they have that out in a way where they can try to assimilate. Now they're never going to assimilate in the white society, but and there's always going to be that rejection. But they have a chance to assimilate easier than black, or even if it's even a conversation of light skin and dark skin. A light skin black person, black on both sides, would be able to assimilate a lot easier than a dark-skinned person. Now, so I can't really say that a light-skinned person would have a harder time than a dark-skinned person. Not to make a whole thing of the comparison of
yeah, but no, we're not the ones that doing that. The white supremacy one that done that.
Right.
Like it was a light-skinned people was in the house compared to the dark people in the field. Like, but Tariq mentioned like colorism was really a thing here, and like that's not true.
Right.
It is. I mean, in the industry, even to this day, even people at the perceptions of beauty is more light skinned. Or look at Serena Williams again, like, but even before her, look at the filters on Instagram and Snapchat. They make them look lighter,
right?
Not darker.
I think that we got to understand that this is why this is something. I think that sometimes Tariq takes a hard line stand, and it's necessary because there's so many counter stances to us that it's good to see someone take like for instance, the dominant society never admits any of their faults. They never say anything they could have done differently or done better or admit any of their faults. So we're getting that from our end. So we might intellectualize it and look at it and say, oh, that's not necessarily 100% accurate, but I understand what he's doing. But do I think there's colorism in the United States? There is. I don't think it's to the point where we see it like in the Caribbean and on the continent where you have people using cake soaps and stuff like that, but there has been beef between light skin and dark skin, and we even crack jokes about it. We call them light brights and stuff like that, but I don't think it's not to the point where let me put it this way. Our government is not set up into a way where if you're light skinned you really get advantages in society. So there's not really a come up for bleaching your skin. If you're light skinned, we have the one drop rule here. A Negro is a Negro no matter what. And so that kind of changes the dynamic. If we were in a society like Brazil, where like being 1/8 black or like someone that's 1/8 black is better than someone that's 2/8 black. You know what I'm saying? If we had a society like that, then our colorism would be rampant.
I still can't disagree with you on that because like they're not looking at how many drops of black in you. I mean, it's their European version of beauty, what they perceive as beauty that we have here. Like in Cali is a big victim of it. Like you look at them old West Coast videos, like they would have a fair skinned chick with long hair, looking like very European. You know what I mean? Or they get some of the artists. Like there's a higher chance of light skinned artists below than a dark skinned artist. I remember I was looking at like a good comparison to me would be like Big Crit, for example. He's a very talented artist. And I had to wonder if he was light skinned, would he have more success? I mean, like T.I. light skinned, he's a handsome with the thug image that people like. You know what I mean?
Man, y'all are so no one cares about light skinned people.
Oh yeah, people do. I mean, like, we don't. You're not wearing soap and stuff like they do in the Caribbean. Even though they do sell it here. Cause hell, I just saw it at a local Walmart over here not too long ago. So,
you acting like the top rappers are all light skins.
Drake?
They're not.
You know, how many dark skinned rappers at the top of the game? Look, you thinking?
Nas.
Nas is not dark skin.
No, come
Get
on,
out of here.
No.
What is dark skin to y'all? Like some dude straight out of Guinea-Bissau or something?
Like, dude, you look like you're shadow black.
Man, y'all see that y'all changing the goalpost. I'm dark skinned.
I don't agree with that.
I'm dark skinned.
I didn't petty. I mean, yeah. You're not light skinned. But seriously though, I mean, how many top artists like maybe Kendrick, and that's about it.
Well, I do want to hone in on the fact that, I feel like the argument here is what Tariq said as far as light-skinned people having a harder time than dark-skinned people. You know, which I can't. I
can't see it. They may have a hard time identifying themselves, like you said, the confusion part. But as far as opportunities, not from what I've seen.
See, I'd rather have clarity of mind than have my mind screwed up because I'm trapped.
I get that, but that's not the question. The question is, do light skin have a harder time getting through life itself?
Right.
I think it's the same in the United States. In a different country, obviously. In like countries that were dominated by Spanish powers or Portuguese or the Latin powers, they have it easier. But I don't think so.
I disagree because most people who buy hip hop are white and or either white or they women, and yeah, but women still fall the same victim to it because like look at like say perfect example Instagram filters. Most people love the filters because they make them look lighter, right?
Right.
The same thing with the rappers they love. Most of them are light. If T.I. wasn't a light-skinned, handsome guy, no matter how good he rapped, I don't see him being like out there a superstar status like he was.
Well, I think what we're seeing is two dark-skinned dudes hating on light-skinned people.
No, I'm not hating on it. I just say matter of fact,
growing up.
Like I said, I still believe T.I. is top 5 rapper. I give him that. But he would have popped. But there was a lot of trap rappers before T.I. But T.I. was just a light-skinned, handsome guy to do it.
And we got to move on. We got to move on. But here's something to chew on. Would Michael Jackson have been as big if he stayed black? And with that,
that's different. Get out of here.
No. I'm saying I got some final.
Yeah.
We're introducing a new topic today. I mean, a new segment today. If you get this comment off my screen, bruh, it's called "Sorry, Tyrone, your post isn't deep," and this is where we highlight certain posts all across the World Wide Web and point them out. This is part of our Kingdom of Babylon. So first one, if Black Americans brought everything from Africa, where was all these inventions, culture in Africa after we were sold into slavery? Now, I think this is kind of funny because it's like it wasn't like there's a lot of people online that's trying to make it look like the Europeans pulled up to the west coast of Africa and said, hey, sell us 300,000 or 1 million niggas, and then the Africans just let them get on the boat and then they just went away. No, it was war. They bombed the hell out of Africa, took all the resources, destroyed all the architecture. So it's like obviously you're not going to see a clear lineage from the Mandan Kurufaba to today. So this is just funny to me. Fellas, what you think?
Go ahead.
Well, oftentimes when you see a comment like this, you ask somebody like that, how much do they know about African history? And oftentimes it's really not that much. So you see, I think it's one of those things where people are kind of reaching and trying to create this divide in order to confirm their biased belief that blacks weren't in Africa. The blacks in the Americas weren't in Africa. We were just here the whole time.
People don't realize that. I think a lot of people forget that Africa is a continent, not a country.
Yes.
I think that's the main takeaway we should get from this. And so it's different races of black people. You know what I mean? So because they sold us on this Pan-African mindset, like the Beyonce Black is King and that whole movement think we are the same. We're not. And that's not the hate on other black races. Like I feel like it's okay to identify with yourself and still have respect for others. Right. But there is a difference. You talk about this is the whole continent, large as hell, and you talk about a bunch of different black races, different cultures and history dealing with this. And like you said, and white people have been beating and colonizing, and now China is doing it since then. Right. So so it just lets you know this person is ignorant and they had no clue what's really going on, what's Africa really about.
Right. Yeah, I think we gotta have to be able to delineate without having to just change history. I think it's dangerous to say that we don't have any connection to Africa. It's like First off, it's factually untrue, and then two, once you get your reparations, you're just gonna stay here. I've also started to note, this is Erica. This is long nails. I've also started to notice a lot of Africans disassociate themselves from the continent of Africa and start saying they're independent countries. Well, Erica, they've always done that, and not only did they even segregate. They don't even go by nation; they go by their tribe. Right. And that's the one thing that that's our fault as Black people, because white people at a certain point started creating super tribes, which are called nations, and then they created the concept of whiteness, would group them all together, and we never adjusted.
That's why Africa was
but even white people do that too, though.
Yeah, well, they do, but the thing about it with Africa, I mean, you had some kingdoms, but it was still very much so tribalistic, where a tribe was like, hey, we're over here, and the kingdoms worked differently than the feudal systems that they had in Europe. So I mean, there definitely is a difference with that.
But here's the thing: like, Europeans know when to cut it out. That's
exactly.
Europeans will say, we gonna bomb these niggas into the Stone Age, and then after they're bombed in the Stone Age, then we'll fight each other. But they'll all be on code about the niggas got to be in the Stone Age. Yeah, that's what we don't do. It'd be like for instance, let's use Nigerian tribes. It'd be like, hey, I'm Hausa. The guy with no face over there is Fulani, and you're Igbo. I would see the Europeans bombing on you too, and I'd be like, well, they're bombing on them too. They're not bombing on me. I'm Hausa.
Yeah,
and then they'll pick each one of us off because we all look at each other as separate individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until it's knocking at our door.
Yeah, exactly. And then y'all already dead. We could have all fought together and won, but now it's just me.
Yeah.
So that's this whole ideology of let's divorce ourselves from Africa. As it's like people got their heart broken. They went to an African person that said, I'm African. They got laughed at, and now they're like anti-Africa. It's like no African person can take Africa from me. I don't give a damn. I look in the mirror, look at my receding hairline. That's African.
Look at those ashy knuckles. Look at those dusty knuckles. That's Africa.
This is hard work, nigga. This is hard sweat and determination. Nigga. This is building a mobile app, Knuckles.
Oh my God.
Real quick, Erica had a point. She said, let me make sure we cover these. It's hard to find out the truth when everything's been whitewashed. It's very true. That's why some books like The Destruction of Black Civilization, they came before Columbus.
I actually got that book recently.
Yeah, they're really good books to read. They're not sometimes, they're not all the way accurate, but it's just good to start over instead of where the foundation we're given, where Greece and Rome started everything that was cool when they stole a lot. Next, Erica, it's no biggie to me. I always say where I'm from, what tribe I'm from. I'm a Beantown baby. Okay, that's awesome. You're Beantown Minde. Okay. Next is Chess Charday. Now, she be coming with the flames against all these people that be talking about like we came out of the soil of the United States. Mm-hmm. But I didn't like this tweet right here. I'm gonna read it. Most black men, regardless of ethnicity, ain't in the barbershop every week to perfect their hairline. There are men who grow bald earlier, men who prefer to wear hats, and those who rock hairstyles that don't require weekly touch-up. The check the hairline conversation is just silly. If you're a black male in the chat, a black American male, just respond with a thumbs up if you got made fun of because your hairline was off. My personal experience as a black American that has a hairline, Black Ice ain't got one and Keith ain't got a face. But as a black man that has had a hairline for the past 33 years, I've seen firsthand how we keep track of our hairline. If you go to school with a messed up hairline, you get made fun of. What are your thoughts, fellas?
I had long dreads before I cut off my hair.
Okay. You cut it off or it fell off?
That's cap. That is cap. This man's hair has never in his life, I'm pretty sure, grown past an inch. But I do remember, one of the biggest things that people would get on you was about your hairline. Yeah. So it was kind of a step in for me to go out of my way to, I mean, it's kind of a efficiency kind of thing, but to go ahead and just, start free-forming my hair. So, yeah, hairline is a very big conversation with Black men. And the barbershop is a very, I mean, think about all the people that are, all the Black men that are introverted and don't want to hear the same debate about Biggie versus Tupac for the 20th time, but still goes to the barbershop in order to get their touch up.
I have a question for you, Jay. Do you enjoy going to the barbershop?
Yes, of course.
I don't.
Well, you don't have no hair, so.
I'm with, man, because because I'll be like, man, y'all talk too damn much. I'm just trying to, I'm a busy man. I got to listen to y'all babble all damn day.
A nigga with no hair talking about he don't like going to the barbershop. Yeah, because you look in the mirror and realize everything you ain't got. My hair went at 28. This is where it gets even worse. Look at her follow-up tweet. Then she goes into wokeisms. This is another example of how body positivity never includes Black men, and many Black men play into this against their own interests.
Oh my God.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what you're talking about at this point.
We like our hairlines. Other people don't care about their hairlines. Period. Point blank. Black men like our hairlines.
It's
Black American men. You said what?
It's a form of grooming. It's a form of maintaining yourself. So this kind of does fall into the, sorry, Tyrone, your post isn't that deep category, because the hairline is not that deep. It's a hairline. It's a line that brothers cutting to the hair. It's really not, this systematic thing.
Yeah, and I put a message on there. I was like, if there's a reason why when your hair start receding, you get your hair pushed back so that you can still have your lineup. Like Black men, we will push our Black American men, we'll push our hairline back to try to keep that straight line. Mm-hmm. I see dudes over here with their hairline all the way up here. I just gave up. I'm just like, it's done. Woo. I'm just committed to nature.
All he needs is some flowers in his face. I'll donate $1.
All right, I'm seeing you recovered after you asked for that free shipping. So that concludes our new segment. Sorry, Tyrone, your post isn't that deep. We're gonna be doing that every episode now. And Erica, hair is a sign of vitality. And I guess I'm not as vital anymore. Whatever.
Man. We need some 6-0 shea butter in the shop.
Damn. All right. So, what are your parting thoughts?
I just said mine.
I need some shea butter in the store.
Jay, you go ahead and get your parting thoughts first, because I had something with the.
Okay.
What was the topic we touched on before? Because I'm thinking about hairlines now.
Yeah, my parting thoughts are is this: Black people just stay on point. Stay on point all the time. Like Brittany Griner, she got herself jammed up because she wasn't on point. You were in Russia, and there's that statement: when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You know who probably coined that? It was probably some dude coming from Kemet, probably stealing some of our secrets. Went over to Rome with some hemp or something and got jammed up. And he realized, Roman law is different from Kemetic law. When you're in Rome, do as the Romans do. So always remember that. When you're in Rome, do as Romans do. And if you're in Rome and you're one of the oppressed people, realize that your fate is not written in stone. You have control over writing the narrative. When the Anglo-Saxons were in Britannia, they took over Britannia. They didn't let Rome control it. That's why, think about the term Britain. The word Britain comes from Rome. Same with like the word Germany. Rome called the German people Germani, and they call Britain Britannia. Those come from Rome. These people was warriors, and they wrote their own story. They took over Britannia, and now it's called Britain because it's anglicized or what have you. But basically, they wrote their own story. So always stay on point. Don't wait for things to change. If someone's vicious and they whooping your butt, don't plead to them. You need to stand your ground and say, this is where it stops. This is where it ends. And in order to do that, you need to prep yourself. You need to prep yourself mentally, physically, and however else you need to do it. And with that, I'll pass to Keith.
That was some good points. My parting words, touching on the whole thing with the colorism, even, the reason I really can't really agree with the whole thing of, light-skinned people having having it harder than dark-skinned people, to me, it's so marginal, the whole issue of colorism, to the point where we really should focus on how blacks are treated as a whole. It was a really good conversation, but as a whole, to bring up that point, I really don't think it's very fruitful, since, in the Anglo world, in the Black Anglo world, it really is marginal. And it's not as exacerbated as places like, like you said, in Portuguese or Spanish past territories. So, just focus on being Black in America, being Black in the West, because that's really what that's the main issue we're dealing with. Let's not try to get distracted by all these little, differences between us.
For me, one thing I do like what Tariq did on that interview, when academics were trying to go in on on Black men and women and Black families, and I like the way Tariq kind of deflected from that, because you're not the person that had that conversation with. Those type of conversations, I think it's cool to have those conversations in house. You know what I mean? Even though it be a lot of things that people may be doing wrong, I wouldn't go on a white platform or on a foreign platform to have my own people if stuff I disagree with. So I can tell Tariq would decide stepping that stuff, but I respect him for that, because he's not the one that had that conversation with. So props to him on that one.
Yeah, Akademiks sounded like just the average white guy in the interview. It was if you close your eyes, it was just a white dude interviewing Tariq. He thought like a white dude, and then he had that migrant exceptionalism bullcrap. And I like how Tariq pushed it back on him. It's like, oh, you work so hard. Look at your homeland. Your homeland's a shambles. Oh, you got these cool family structures. Why are you selling your daughters into prostitution? You know what I'm saying? Push him back on that narrative. It's like, if for instance, and now I don't want to go too far on, but it's like Echo Atlantic is this new city they're building in Nigeria that a lot of people talk about. But Echo Atlantic is controlled by a white man and is being built by Chinese. So it's like, if you are that hardworking and your hard work is why you're succeeding in America, then why don't we see that in your homeland? Maybe it's because you're exploiting, when you come here, you're exploiting a racial caste system that slots you above us. Maybe that's the reason why your hard work is different in two different places. Keith, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do want to kind of conclude with something I've been thinking on, as far as this whole thing of different groups of Black people believing that they have some sort of intrinsic value. You have Blacks in the Caribbean that think, oh, we're better than Black Americans because it's down the third. Blacks in Africa think we're better than Blacks in the West because it's down the third. Blacks in any part of this world that believe that their culture or their people are better than other Blacks for these different reasons. We have to realize that there's problems across the board. And to me, I think it's ridiculous whenever I hear, Blacks from different islands or different countries or different places overall talking of the virtues of their culture and their island and their, continent or where have you. And this even goes for, Black Americans and anybody, any group of Black folk. We have to realize that we all have issues, because it just goes back to, let's not throw stones with a glass house. And that's what I see with this conversation with DJ Akademiks trying to throw all these things about Black Americans. Well, it's a lot of glass houses in Jamaica as well. So we have to realize that there are issues across the board, and let's not try to be holier than thou. and realize that we're all in the same boat, and all of our neighborhoods and all of our places are in shambles. So let's try to fix that, and not try to be righteous with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and I love that, and I don't want to keep going on, but I have to say something to that. It's we got to realize it was great when like they were talking about the B1 versus Pan-Africanism, because like someone that thinks like academics, like if we say that the dominant society is Darth Vader, right? We look at Darth Vader, we say we need to take Darth Vader out. They look at Darth Vader and say, I want to rock with Darth Vader.
Right.
So they want to rock with Darth Vader, so they talk all that tribalism crap because they want to look good to Darth Vader. So a lot of these people are just no good to us.
But he's not even loyal to his own people anyway. Because like I don't know, people in an interview, he was talking about Suri asked him like, well, who you been dating? And he like, yeah, I just dated a Hispanic chick, a white chick. So it's like, to me alone, show you where your mindset is.
Right.
Well, he left his country, so that showed you first that he wasn't loyal, and he came here to take our oppressor side against us. So obviously he, in his head, he values whiteness. The thing is, they don't even realize that they value whiteness. They took the white man's side against us. And that's the real terrible part about it. And we gotta write them up, charge them to the game, man. Like, Akademiks cannot be saved. I didn't believe Akademiks at all. He was being very disingenuous in that entire thing. He still feels like immigrants are superior to Black Americans, and that's totally fine. They could think that, and we just gonna see how the cards play out. And with that, everyone, thank you for watching the 4th episode of The Lunch Break. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember, Black empowerment's your job. This is your lunch break. We'll be here every other Thursday. Stay seasoned, never salty. Now enjoy the jazz.